Diamondbacks are world champions.
Down is the motion man. Little flip to Fitzgerald. He scores. And the Cardinals win an amazing game.
Mikhail Bucker with a chance. He walks in. He scores. Mikhail Bucker for the second straight game is the hero.
Sporty Nation, we are so happy to be back with you for season number 2. It's been a long time in the waiting, and like we've been saying for the last, I don't know, probably month and a half, if not more, Corey and I are back, and we are back live on YouTube right now. So hi, Sporty Nation. Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. Welcome back, Corey. This is awesome.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. We've been basically planning this for, I don't even know how long, since we ended, so basically like 6 months or something like that. So it's really nice to be back, and we're just really excited to be here with our Sporty Nation and with our wonderful crew. We appreciate you guys coming and putting all this stuff together with us. So we are just so happy right now, and just am looking forward to another wonderful season with my wonderful co-host. Thank you for being with me, Richie.
Of course. This is awesome. I've been missing this for the last couple months. We've been away probably, since February. I feel like we owe the Sporty Nation an explanation as to why we went away for so long. Well, the best things are you always have to build up to them, right? So you have to give people a little break sometimes, so that way they leave them wanting more. That's part of the problem. And the other issue is we are both very busy individuals, and so we just couldn't quite find the time to get around to coming in and shooting new episodes. But we're back. We're back better than ever. We're back live the entire season. So hope we're sounding great for you, Sporty Nation, on our YouTube page. So sorry we've been gone for so long.
Yeah, it's actually been kind of hard, like Richie had said, to fit everything in. I mean, between Richie being on the Freaks, which is probably right behind him on his thing there, he's so busy with that. He's such an accomplished individual himself. So, so he's been so busy doing all of that. And I've got a full-time job and work some jobs on the side as well. So it's definitely been a lot of stuff. And, we have families and all that. But we come back to, well, I say that because my mom just got surgery. So that's what I did. I dropped off flowers and a cake before I even came here. So, so basically we've been doing a bunch of all those things. But really this is, our passion. And we love this show so much. And we hope that you love the show. And we're so thankful for all of you staying around and being here with us and just, following us. And we loved talking to you while we were off. The fact that you still had so much passion while we weren't even on air anymore was really great. So we decided we're going to come back live so that way everyone can interact. So if you haven't seen our announcement and don't really know what's going on, the reason why we are live is because of the fact that we really love our Sporty Nation so much that we wanted to incorporate that into this season. In general, this market is either, as your wonderful Kenny Sargent always says, it's either a snorkel fest for the people who are constantly loving the teams because they have to, or it's, you've got some good takes, but there's not many people in this market that really cover these teams very well. And we come from a basically open forum that we do the show because we love it and we love sports here. And we want to come here and give you the most interactive and best experience when it comes to sports being here. And we want to turn it into something as if, we were working in a massive market, or, this is a pretty big market as it is. But it's not like we're in New England covering the Patriots. So we just want to bring that experience here to Arizona because we just don't feel like we get enough of it. So that's what we're bringing you, and we want you to be a part of it.
Yes, so if you're watching us live, if you're watching us on tape delay, if you're listening to us, comment below, and we'll try to get to your questions if and when we can, if it relates to the subject we're talking about, because like you just said, Corey, we love talking to guys. That's why we love doing what we do on this show. But here's what's coming up on the Season 2 premiere. Now, before I get to that, did we leave Season 1 on a cliffhanger or no? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either, but if we did, let us know. We will definitely get back to that. I don't think we ended it on too much of a cliffhanger, if I remember correctly.
I don't think we did. I think we pretty much resolved just all the storylines of season 1. But here's what's coming up in season 2. Here's what's coming up on this episode of the show. Of course, the biggest story in sports here locally over the last little while has been the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are currently in 3rd place in the National League West, chasing another postseason appearance, whether that be as NL West champions or as the wild card. So we're going to get to that. And then coming up later, we're going to get to a Corey's Corner. We're going to get to Dick of the Week to end the show. And then we're also going to give our Super Bowl predictions. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Arizona Cardinals as well. We're going to give our record predictions and how they're going to do, of course, tomorrow. And we can say tomorrow because we are live. I'm going to keep saying that as many times as I can.
Oh, I know. Normally we're sitting here, we're going, okay, well, this game, it's going to be over by the time we're out of here. And by the time we get it edited, and by the time we get it up, this is going to be old or that's going to be... Nope, none of that anymore. And nothing is ever going to be old because it's happening right now and you get to watch it right now. And it's so exciting.
Exactly. So we can
so
say
happy.
that tomorrow the Arizona Cardinals open their season at home against the Washington Redskins. And we'll get to that later in the show. But let's get into it. Corey, finally, we got all the pleasantries out of the way. Let's talk Arizona Diamondbacks. And we were talking before the show. We were talking last night and through our text messages. I said that I would like to thank the non-existent man upstairs for last night's victory over the Atlanta Braves. You disagreed with me, of course, but that's a different conversation altogether.
Yes, for all of you that don't know, Richie's an atheist. So then I replied with, what's his name? The one who didn't, that couldn't get the Miss Universe or Miss America.
Steve Harvey, yeah.
Steve Harvey. I had Steve Harvey saying, thank God. And I was like, thank Jesus, hallelujah. So I was like all joking with that because I always love messing with Richie's view on that. So yes, we are a very open show, as you can tell. We've got both sides of everything.
So last night the Diamondbacks won, but it wasn't thanks to Archie Bradley, who came in again last night and had a rough outing. And you noticed something during that game last night that I didn't catch as much that you think is concerning about Archie Bradley. He hasn't been pitching that well at all lately. I've been very critical of him. But what did you see last night from Archie that you thought was really concerning?
Okay, so one of the things that I want to point out here is last year, and I mean, you probably had to have been living under a rock if you didn't know this, but Archie Bradley was kind of that force, right? He was the one that was on the front of the papers and everyone was just so excited, and he ended up becoming the face of this team. I think I had even said that, we hadn't had someone that was so prominent since like Luis Gonzalez, I would say, because I mean, Goldie is there, but Goldie doesn't hold the same. He's kind of awkward when he's in like situations where he needs to do anything in the public. So, I just never saw Goldie as that, like, really, he is on the field, but not off the field. And I felt like Archie was. Well, what really showed to me was last night, he got so pissed after he ended up getting taken off with the bases loaded. He ended up leaving the dugout and going back underneath the tunnel. And I thought that was a huge thing because that shows what is going on with this team. This team is not the same mental team that they were a couple months ago. And if there's anything that is holding them back, it is themselves. So the fact that someone that is supposed to be essentially their hype man, the one that's like keeping them all up high, he is the one that is having problems, and he himself is taking himself out of it. And I think there's no way that he can be doing that. You have to support your team if you are that person.
Yeah.
And if they're having mental issues, you need to get your together and really actually put yourself in there like a freaking adult.
Like a true leader, like he's supposed to be, and like he showed last season. Like you said, he was kind of the de facto leader of that team last year, and for the most part this year as well. So I will say this, though, I like the passion from Archie Bradley. So more than likely, he goes straight into the dugout and he throws a tantrum, so the cameras can't see it. Which I like the passion from this team, which we don't really see very often outside of Steven Souza Jr. Because we talked about that. We talk about this on the Freaks quite a bit, which is for whatever reason this Diamondbacks team doesn't have that oomph. It doesn't have that go-to. It doesn't have that Bryce Harper. It doesn't have that Mike Trout as far as that front-facing star, the guy who's going to come out and criticize a team when it's necessary. And the closest thing to that is Steven Souza But because he's not producing on the field this season, he's having a rough season, it doesn't mean as much. So I love the passion for Archie, but to me, it doesn't matter because he can't get anybody out. Plain and simple.
And I think the other problem with Archie too is like he is a very passionate person, but he's also too like latent on things. I was actually impressed by the fact that he had said after one of the games that they lost against the Dodgers, he goes, you know, everyone's freaking out. This is only one game. You can't put our entire season on one game in September. Right. Which I thought was very mature of him. That's a really mature thing to say. Mm-hmm. You know, we lost one game, recoup, come back. But you didn't recoup, you didn't come back. And now you're letting yourself, like, go over the edge on the other side of it. Yeah. You're not recouping yourself and coming back strong. And that is the thing that I think they have the biggest problem with. Because any of the times that they've gone into the postseason, the players are always talking about how strong the team is and how well they are chemistry-wise.
Right.
And part of me is wondering things like Jake Lamb. Since he's out for the rest of the season, he was sitting there. They showed him for like a couple minutes there. He was sitting there like this.
He wasn't having fun.
He did not care. He was just sitting there and he was like, you know, I'm out, whatever. Him and Archie are roommates.
Right.
Like he started out kind of awkward, kind of not really... You know, he had more of the talent side, and he was kind of more in the Goldie frame of things. Mm-hmm. He wasn't as much of a Boy Scout, you know, image-wise, but he was all at the same time, like, he was a little bit awkward, didn't really know how to approach the media. Living with Archie, he became so much of a more forefront with his team. Him and Archie were so much of what the fun was, you know? Mm-hmm. DBTV would show them singing Taylor Swift and all of these things, and I don't feel like that fun's there. I don't feel like they're having fun. And if they don't enjoy what they're doing and becomes more of a business, then they're putting a bunch of pressure on themselves, and then they're not performing. It's mental errors up the wazoo. And that's the thing is there was missed throws, missed catches last night, and I just feel like a lot of them are little league errors that they can fix if they were to actually kind of get their crap together.
That's actually 100% true, because I think the best example of that lately is, let's go back to the very first inning on Thursday, if I'm correct, which is the Zach Greinke start. Zach Greinke gave up, I believe, a hit to begin the game, and David Peralta gets an easy fly ball to him that looks like he's going to catch, and 95% of the time he catches, and he drops it, and that really set the tone for the rest of the game that they then lost in extra innings. And again, you're seeing too many errors on the base paths. You're seeing Nick Ahmed run through a stop sign and get thrown out of the plate. You're seeing Steven Souza run through a stop sign the other night. Luckily, he was safe. But where does the blame for that lie? Does that lie on Torey Lovullo? Because I feel like he is not the same manager he was last season. Is it maybe that's just luck, where last year every button he pressed was 100% working, but for whatever reason this year, Torey Lovullo just seems like every time he makes a move, it backfires.
You ready for my hot take on this one?
Go ahead.
Yes, I think Torey Lovullo has a big part to do with it. He came in and this team was excited about playing and being on this team. They did not want to leave this team for anything. And it actually almost kept JD because JD loved playing on this team. Right. This is not the same team whatsoever. Mm-hmm. When he came in, you could tell that there was a massive difference, and you're like, that's the difference. That's the thing that Chip Hale could never do. Where is it now? That's the biggest question that's going on right now, and I don't think that Torey, whatever he was doing last year, he's not doing it this year.
Yeah, I think one of his biggest problems is that he's too loyal. And last year, being too loyal worked out for him great, but hasn't been able to make the adjustment this season because he's been too loyal to Archie Bradley. He's been too loyal to Brad Boxberger. He's been too loyal to AJ Pollock. He's being too loyal to a lot of different players, and it's costing them games. I've been saying this for the last couple weeks. I think Yoshi Hirano should be your closer.
I completely agree with that. I think it's very sad that when he came in, there was that wild pitch that was scored on. Mm-hmm. I think that was kind of unfortunate because I do really think that he has been the only one that's been able to close out lately. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. And plus I can't get enough of my little Yoshi gifts.
I love those. Those are terrific.
If you guys didn't see my last one, he was dancing. It was really cute. But no, I really think that what you've been pushing is actually the right way to go about this.
Thank you very much. And I would like to point out that I've been the only sports radio personality in this market to say that for the last 2 weeks. Plain and simple. I was the first one to ask for that as far as I saw, and it still hasn't happened yet. Now people are starting to understand that Brad Boxberger isn't the guy anymore. So before we move on to Corey's Corner, quickly, do they make the playoffs, yes or no?
It 150% depends on their attitude and their pitching. I had said from the very, very beginning that this team, and I think I said it on Kenny and Crash, that this team this year will only beat the Dodgers if their pitching is able to. Mm-hmm. If they stay the way they are today, no.
I agree. This team's not a playoff team right now. They can't string together more than 3 wins in a row. Their bullpen isn't good. Their hitting is their biggest problem right now. That streak against the Dodgers there, fact of the matter is your starters and your bullpen, they only give up 3 runs. You should win most games where you give up 3 runs or less. And if their hitting bats showed up at all in that series, you're in first place in the National League West. I trust the starting pitching. That's the best part of their team right now. But their bats just aren't good enough. Torey Lovullo hasn't been good enough. They're not going to make the playoffs.
I also would like to point something else out, too, that you'd mentioned. Was it Steven Souza Jr. that had said something about the fact that, oh, well, you can't blame the offense for this?
Yep.
That type of attitude also royally pisses me off because you can't start blaming people. You can't start blaming the pitchers and you can't start blaming the batters because in that situation, it turns into a pissing match.
Yeah.
Where everyone just keeps on going back and forth at each other. You're on the same team. Get your crap together. Figure out what you're going to do. If you need, it's just basically one of those things. Like say on this show, if you were doing terribly, right? You weren't doing anything for the show. I felt like you were completely not carrying your weight, all of that stuff. What would I need to do? Pick up more weight and actually do things, and yell at you and be like, you know what? You need to be picking up your weight. But at the same time, you don't just be like, well, they're not picking up their weight. I'm just not going to do anything else. I don't really feel like it. That's not how it works. Your team, if someone's down, you pick the other one up. You don't say, oh, well, we can't do anything more. You can try to do more. There's never a stopping point in that. And that, I think, aggravates me. But to move on to something else that aggravates me, I am going to now start my corner, which is going to be about fans. And I would kind of like Richie to come in on me with this a little bit because I'm going to call him out a little bit.
Oh, gosh.
Because I do listen to him on Kenny and Crash, and he does this a little bit. He did this as soon as the Diamondbacks had started to do bad. My biggest problem that I've been having with Arizona fans lately has been the fact that everyone either wants to jump on ship or off ship soon as something happens. Soon as the Diamondbacks lost to the Dodgers, oh, off the ship. Nope, they're not going to make it. Everyone, they just suck. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're terrible. They're horrible. He did it. He did it, y'all. Like literally right away, jumped off the boat, was ready to throw a tea party, and was about to run and buy himself a yacht to go sail away and cry about. Like, it was so bad how everyone just jumped ship. Support your teams. I mean, there's people in Cleveland who've had to go through 2 horrific, and I mean horrific people, seasons. If they can go through those seasons, and for good Lord, how many people have been Cubs fans for their entire life and generations on generations of Cubs fans, and they did not know if the Cubs would ever win a World Series ever. So it's like, let's be honest here. You can't just jump on the boat when someone's doing good and when someone's doing bad. You have to be loyal fans. And that is one of the problems I have with this market, is the fact that everyone is so wishy-washy with it. It comes back and forth all the time to the point where no one is willing to actually say that they are a loyal fan. And yes, another point that we had been making on something else on Twitter, you'd been getting critiqued about the fact that negativity and how we say that we like to keep things positive. There is a huge difference between constructive criticism about a team. Like, I was being constructively criticizing the Diamondbacks. However, I do think this team has a potential to make the playoffs if they make those changes. I'm still going to be a loyal fan, and I'm still going to be like, I think this team has the potential. Or even if they didn't have the potential, there's always moves. There's always things that can be made to be different. There's never a point where it's a lost cause. So that is the problem that I've been having lately. And also, too, the other way around. If a team wins a series against a team that they're not supposed to be winning, it could be a fluke, y'all. It may not be an actual thing. It could be something that they just happened to win that series and it was great, but it doesn't mean that they're going to go and win it all. And that's, I think, part of the problem, too, is the fact that people are either ready to go really, really low or really, really high, and there's nowhere that they meet in the middle. And I mean, that could be a cultural thing with everything that's going on with politics and everything else right now, but that's besides the point. But I just feel like as a market, we need to just kind of start moving towards that middle a little bit more.
Yeah, I actually agree with you for the most part, because therein lies the problem of getting people to actually show up to the ballpark, to the rink, to the court, whatever. So I 100% agree with you, and I will admit I did that with the Diamondbacks during the Dodgers series, but I'm still a fan. I'm just frustrated, is all. So
no, and thank you for letting me call you out.
No, it's fine.
I appreciate you being like okay with me calling you out on that.
It's okay. I work on a radio show during the week where I get called out all the time by one of my co-hosts, Alex Clancy, and we like to go back and forth much the same way. But thank you very much for your corner, Corey. Coming up later in the show, we'll do Dick of the Week. So stay tuned for that. But before we move on, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Corey_Richie Show. That's where we give all of our hot takes and on the Diamondbacks and whatever they may be. We were tweeting last night. We share our Yoshi gifts when Yoshi Hirano comes in.
Yes.
So follow us there. You can also follow us on Instagram at Corey Richie Show. That is where we post funny pictures and things and do Instagram lives from time to time as well. Let's move on, shall we, to the National Football League.
Yes. So on Sunday, we have our first game of the Cardinals season. And what did Steve Wilkes say?
Oh, yes. I'm glad you brought this up. We played this on the Freaks this week, and it really annoyed the crap out of me. He spoke to the media on Wednesday, and he essentially said in a clip, he said, and I quote, "We are not ready to play today, but we will be ready on Sunday."
And that was on a?
It was on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Wednesday, you're not ready to play on Sunday. You've gone through all of your preseason games. You've gone through all your training camp. You've done all your preparations. It is the Wednesday before kickoff, and you're not ready for Sunday. That gives a great message to all of your fans who are looking at you as a new head coach to pull who came, after Bruce Arians. People loved and adored Bruce Arians. So you're already kind of coming into a crap pile as it is. And then on top of it, this is the confidence that you give everyone. I don't like it.
No, it wasn't good. That's why I literally heard that clip during one of our top of the hour updates, and I immediately turned to Kenny Crash and Alex and I go, did I just hear what I thought he said? And I couldn't believe that. The preseason is over. You should be ready. Granted, I understand you just played on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. You're not going to be ready to play a football game back to back. But come Wednesday, after a preseason that they actually played pretty well during the preseason, you should be ready. You should be like, I want to get on the field Sunday and I want to prove everybody wrong. I want to prove the national media wrong. I want to prove the local sports hosts who have been crapping on us for the last 2 months because of our off season wrong. Steve Wilkes should come out there and say, I'm ready to play. Let's do this. Let's get ready. Let's get rocking. And for him to come out and say that his team wasn't ready to play ever, It's ridiculous. You'd never want to hear that from a head coach. Granted, Bruce Arians, he was very well known for speaking the truth. He had no filter, and he would be one to come out and say after a game, hey, we weren't ready to play a football game today. And that's the only time you should hear a coach say that is after a game when you can watch and you can clearly tell that the team wasn't 100% prepared. So coming into this Sunday, prior to Wednesday, I thought maybe the Cardinals would come away with a win. I was picking them to win. But as soon as I heard that, I immediately switched to a loss. They're going to lose come Sunday.
I mean, in no way. The funny part is Singer's nodding his head behind you. He's agreeing with you. But yeah, I don't want them to be coming out either and pull the whole ASU thing. Oh yes, we are going to win the Rose Bowl this year. We are going to be amazing and perfect. Yeah, I wasn't going to drop him in there, but yes, Todd Graham. And
thank goodness he's gone.
Like, I don't want him to be like, we're going to win a Super Bowl and we're going to be amazing. We're going to be at the top of our division. And I don't particularly want him to do that, but like, come on, at least have some spirited, and that's the thing is when you have all of these people in this market all saying that your team is going to suck this year and that you're going to highly favor DJ and that everyone's going to figure that out. And I mean, as a Vikings fan, they do figure that out. And they eventually start to stop that. I mean, it might be different in this game because of the fact that they had the Redskins were ranked last year. They allowed 134.1 rushing yards, which was the highest in the league. So, I mean, maybe not in this game particularly, but for the rest of the season, you can't always count on DJ to be the one and only way of gaining yards. Yeah. But I mean, you have all of these things that are playing against you. And what do you say? We're not ready.
Yeah.
At that point, you should be fine tuning.
Right.
It shouldn't be, we're preparing ourselves because, we have to figure out how to get all of these reps in and these. No, you should be figuring out how to fine tune things, taking breaks, because otherwise your team's going to be exhausted if you're still trying to figure crap out. Mm-hmm. And sorry, if I pause for a moment, it's because I'm literally about to cuss, and I'm stopping myself from cursing.
It's okay. It's fine. We're on the internet. You can cuss as much as you want.
That's what I don't know. Does someone, someone in Sporting Nation, let me know how much censoring does YouTube do?
Oh, that's true, because YouTube gets angry if Fern is saying YouTube doesn't do any censoring at all.
No censoring? YouTube does not get angry. So if I was to say shit, they would not care. Okay. So in other words, Wilkes, get your shit together and get your team to actually perform on Sunday, because if you are giving off the idea that this team is not going to be good, guess what? Everyone already assumes you're not going to be good. You're not helping yourself out. From a PR standpoint, this is horrible.
Yeah.
It kills me.
So I think the way we're both talking is we don't think the Cardinals are going to be very good this year.
I would love to be pleasantly surprised.
I would too. It's more fun to have a good team to talk about on sports radio. But we did our predictions earlier this week on the Freaks, and I had them at 6-10 this season. I don't think this team has what it takes offensively to make a run in an NFC West that is going to be pretty hard to contend in, with the Rams at the top and the Niners at the top, and then the always present Seahawks. I don't really know what to expect from them this season, but 6-10 again. Sam Bradford, I don't know what to expect from him if he stays healthy. He doesn't have anybody to throw the football to. As far as wide receivers go, he has Larry Fitzgerald and Ricky Seals-Jones, and that's it. He can't contend for a Super Bowl with one superstar in David Johnson.
And I mean, we don't really know if Ricky Seals-Jones will stop in the middle to pee in the middle of the field. Sorry, I had to do a public peeing joke. Yep, that was a public peeing joke, y'all. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, when you have a team that's that obvious, you know which receivers, you know what they're probably going to do with the run game. It's really easy to stop it.
Yeah.
So I would really love to be pleasantly surprised. So Cardinals, folks, everybody, please pleasantly surprise me.
What's
because
your prediction record-wise? Because we were both wrong last year.
Actually, funny enough, we're on such a great page this year. Mine was also 6-10.
Oh, there you go.
Which
nice.
that's really funny.
Full disclosure, we did not.
We had no idea.
Yeah,
we literally had no idea.
Before. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we. I mean, I heard yours on Kenny and Crash, but it was.
See, so you just gave it away.
Well, no, but I mean, yours was you guys went game by game.
Yeah.
And I'm way too lazy to be actually like writing down whether you said win or a loss for each of them. So I have no idea what your record ended up actually being.
We've been talking for too long, so we're gonna let's before we get to Dick of the Week, let's quickly. What is our Super Bowl matchup this year? Obviously I already said mine on Canadian Crash earlier this week. It made you quite happy. But what is your Super Bowl matchup and then Super Bowl winner?
I definitely want to put my Vikings in there, and then I feel like I'm going to get hated on quite a bit here for saying this, but the Patriots.
Oh, just like everybody else and their mother picking the Patriots again. Way to go out on a limb. Corey, my goodness.
I'm sorry, and everyone except for Scotty over there is giving me a thumbs down because Scotty is a Patriots fan. So I mean, oh my gosh, yes, we are all aware you are an Eagles fan, Fern, and if you start singing "Eagles Fly," you will get kicked out of here right now. You guys have no idea. I almost pushed him off the edge at Topgolf after he beat my Vikings. But our rivalries aside, I don't know. Tom Brady just surprises the crap out of me every year. How that man is able to be who he is at his age is astonishing. And how he's able to do the things that he's able to do is also astonishing. Like, I mean, I could not do his eating regimens and his workout regimens and all of the crap that he does, but it's damn impressive.
Yeah, I think he's a cheater. Plain and simple. So are you ready?
You think he's a cheater?
Yes. Let's move on from. Let's forget about that.
I could talk about this. I hate how everyone throws that in there, but we'll talk about that later.
Next week's show. How about that? Who's your winner though? You didn't give us
winner. Vikings.
Oh, okay. Homer. Because guess what? I did the same exact thing. I picked my Super Bowl matchup this year is the Vikings in the NFC, and it is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars out of the AFC, and a little bit of an upset, but I really love their defense, and they got their experience last year in the AFC Championship game, losing to the Patriots, so I think they're going to be better for it this year. As far as the Vikings are concerned, I don't know if I told you this, but the Vikings are one of my favorite teams to watch in the NFL. They entertained the heck out of me last year. Number one, because the one time I really watched them from beginning to end was a game where they played my Rams last year, and they smoked the Rams. And they were the only team defensively that was able to shut down that Rams offense. And ever since then, I've been on the Vikings bandwagon. They didn't make a lot of changes in the offseason, as you know. The only big change was bringing in their new quarterback, Kirk Cousins, and that's an upgrade over Case Keenum. So Dalvin Cook is back healthy. He was on my fantasy team last year, got hurt. That's aside. I think the Vikings are by far going to be the best team in the NFC this year, and they are going to win the Super Bowl.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I know you
And
do.
as for the whole defense thing, yes, if you play fantasy football, Vikings defense, always a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. And yeah, I know someone else who's over in there who also had Cook, who was crying for like days because when he got hurt. It was okay though, because I have a giant blanket, a Vikings blanket, and I was decked out in all my Viking stuff, and I was not very happy. I left the TV and I went to go into my room to sit in silence because I knew that it was not going to be a good thing.
Well, he's back healthy this year, so that's
I know.
everything.
I know. I'm happy about it. I'm excited about this season, and I mean, nothing ever goes as planned.
Right.
So anything that we say right now could be completely and utterly wrong.
And
I
it probably
mean,
will be. Let's
there's
be
so
honest.
many injuries in the NFL. It is insane. So, I mean, who knows? It really, no one, to give Fern's team their credit, I mean, no one knew that the Eagles would win the Super Bowl, and they did.
Yeah,
without
Carson Wentz.
Without Carson Wentz, and the fact that Fultz was able to pull it together was an impressive show. I just really need them to stop talking about their play from the Super Bowl. I'm just really tired of it.
I'm sick of the Philly special as well.
Yeah.
I'm also sick of this. It is now time, Actually, I'm not sick of this because I'm excited to bring it back. And it's time for my Dick of the Week as I turn this way and look at my camera and spill my drink.
Oh, did you actually spill it?
I spilt my drink on the floor, Sporty Nation, but we're going to clean it up momentarily as I do my Dick of the Week. And this week, it is indeed Le'Veon Bell and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you've been following this story at all over the course of the offseason, Le'Veon Bell is in a contract dispute with his team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Le'Veon Bell, one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best running back in the league. And he's not going to play in week 1. He still continues to hold out. And as far as he's concerned, dude, you're still going to earn over $10 million this season with the franchise tag. Like, stop complaining about, I want to make $25 million like Todd Gurley. No, just freaking play, dude. You're on one of the best teams in the league. You're probably going to make it to the AFC Championship game again if everybody's healthy. So screw you, Le'Veon Bell, and also screw you to the Pittsburgh Steelers for just not freaking paying the guy. It's the NFL. You got plenty of money. Figure out your salary cap later. Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's some offensive linemen bitching at Le'Veon Bell in the media, which, come on, dude. Get that behind the scenes. Don't put that out in the media, which is why I'm not picking the Pittsburgh Steelers to really do much this season because of the total mess from Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But, ladies and gentlemen, Corey, I think that's going to end episode number 1 of season 2 of the Sporty Nation. So happy to be back. We should end this.
So
I left a gigantic mess of soda on the floor in here.
So yes, we will have to end it soon so you can clean that up. I'm really glad that it happened on our first live episode. I mean, we haven't had any like massive issues, but the fact that it was you spilling your drink, that's priceless. Actually, I think that is the best way to end season 2, episode 1, or 201, I guess, too, if you wanted to put it that way, if you wanted to put it the arrow way. Mm-hmm. But we thank you all for tuning in, and if you're tuning in after this was live and it's just up on our channel, know that all of them will be live, and we will notify you. So join us live. Let us know what you think. And thank you all for watching. And
good night and good sports, everybody.